Good evening, everyone. This is a Little Mad Tiger, and I'm actually doing a video today on HTML and CSS cascading style sheets and hypertext markup language. Now, if you're not familiar with programming languages, you should probably look these languages up, kind of get a feel for these languages, and then try to learn your languages as you go along. I'll show you guys a website in particular called Codecademy that I'm on right now. Let's get the blaze on. Let's do it. So, I'm going to show you guys a little view of Codecademy here. So, I'm kind of just re-practicing my skills here. As you can tell, I've already completed HTML. Halfway to completing Watson API and PHP. I'm also doing, I'm trying to start these ones, but, you know, it's the time configurations, you know, everything like that. So, let's just review HTML and CSS. I've already completed this. So, I'm going to kind of show you guys a broad overview of what you're going to expect with hypertext markup language and cascading style sheets. Now, let's go into it and get the blaze on. So, alright. So the first line of code is doctype HTML. Obviously, you can tell. Oops. No one saw that. So, alright, the first line of code is doctype HTML. Obviously, the doctype is capitalized. This is telling our code that we are basically running this as HTML5. It's the updated version of hypertext markup language. And then the second line, HTML, it's basically saying everything below this is going to be written in HTML. Pretty simple. Title. This is basically what's going to be displayed on your tab bar right here. So everything, so when you log into a website, usually Google has google.com up here, that's going to be written in this title. And then link href. And then basically they're linking the style sheets and the preferred text style sheets, and they're making this page right here, baby. Oh yeah, get it. And then basically the head title is going to contain everything from our title to basically linking everything from, let's say you're linking a JavaScript, so you say like script source equals like per se, let's say p5.js. That's one I can remember from early on. And you can say script, and that will be contained in the head as well. Alright, perfect. So now let's go to body. Now we're doing a unordered list that we're calling navigation. Obviously you can see right here, pretty hard to tell, it's pretty disorganized per se. So what they're doing here is basically kind of doing a little imaging there, and then basically action list profile settings, unordered list is closed out. Then div class equals search, so that's basically creating a search window, and then search the table, and then closing the div tag, which then creates this little nice navigation bar. Ooh, sexy. Alright, so now let's go to our table. Now this is pretty advanced stuff, guys. If you're not really familiar with code, I'm just kind of running through you guys each line and what it means right now in this screen. There's plenty of other things you could do with HTML. I know you can link it with jQuery. You can also link it with Angular and React.js, but that's more of the advanced stuff. That's more of like web app development. And then you can also do Node.js if you're looking to do the back-end side of coding as well for web development. So, alright. And then table, we got our headers up here. That's obviously creating our rows as well with our heads. And then we close out the head. We got the body, so everything displayed down here. And then basically they're creating table head, and then blah 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 blah, so forth. Usually, if you're trying to figure out a total, what you would do is you would like do t foot, which is basically like, if you remember in English class, you have a header, you have a body, and then you have a footer. So that's basically what we're doing here with HTML. And then we're closing out our table tab. That's obviously creating everything here. We close out our body, and then we close out HTML. This is important because this will actually run your code once you close HTML. None of this code will work if you don't close out this line right here. Remember that specifically. Alright. So now let me give you an example of CSS, cascading style sheets. One sec here. Perfect example. Alright, so basically I'm going to run through you guys a little bit of the overall basic code for CSS or cascading style sheets. So we have right here, we're telling our body, we're going to do something specific with our body, with our fonts, and we're going to do background color, and then background WebKit linear gradient. Alright, so this is basically running for our specific web code, and then we're basically doing a linear gradient relative to the WebKit. So basically it's telling us to run it on the specific website type gradient. It's a little harder to explain, guys, so definitely look it up if you're still confused. And then margin 0, padding 0. Obviously I didn't do shit with this. So, alright, so let's go to H1. This is going to be right here, baby. Oh yeah, let's get it. Alright, so color FFF, probably, that's basically white. And then we have font family, Playfair display with sans serif. Obviously you could tell right there. Font size 32 px, pretty large font size here. And then the padding top is going to be 100 px. If you guys haven't already told, you can kind of tell on the top there it's a little denser per se. And then we have here text align, the left side. Obviously it's not like center. Watch, I'll do center real quick and you'll see the difference. As you can tell, it centers the text. It actually kind of looks a little better to center it, but for the purpose of this video, I'm not going to go too much into that. And then width is 60%. Obviously, that's pretty self-explanatory. Doesn't take up too much space. And then let me show you the imaging, how they do it in CSS. This is kind of interesting. So, with the image, obviously they need their background image in there. Don't mix it in with your HTML, guys. I have seen people try to do this, and it just looks terrible when they write HTML code. You want oriented style with your HTML code and oriented style with your CSS code. Perfect. It's basically like shortening a story into a poem. You have to make it clean and concise. So now we have background size equals cover. So they're trying to say cover the page, and then they're basically centering it right here. And then height 300 pixels, obviously just enough not to get too big or just a little noticeable per se. And then the writer's image, this is actually going to be right here. Obviously WebKit box shadow, obviously they want to create a little background layer for the text per se. And then basically they're doing, what they're doing here is they're changing the opacity to that. So they're doing 0050, 0.97. That's RGBA code, so that's basically like, I think that's with the opacity, because A is opacity. Yep, that is right. Okay, so then box shadow, creating the width specifically. Float left, obviously you can tell that it's on the left side. If I did center, one sec. It doesn't change it. Alright, they have it specifically set for that. So, oh yeah, because of the pixels, right. And then the width, 50 pixels. Pretty self-explanatory, guys. I hope you liked this video. I'll do more videos come the future time. Make sure you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm really looking forward to that. So, thank you guys, and let's get it on, baby. Whoa!